Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
Home sweet home in Arizona. Outside Chase Field today, the D-backs' 15th annual Hispanic Heritage Day. A busy Saturday here in downtown Phoenix. Hispanic Heritage Street Festival and the first 20,000 fans getting their Miguel Montero bobblehead dolls, courtesy of Subway restaurants, as the Diamondbacks are inside, continuing their weekend series. It's Game 2 against the Colorado Rockies. Good afternoon from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brenly along the way. Game 2 of 3 against the Rockies here. And Bob, oftentimes we talk about the pitching matchup, but today seemed like a good day to talk about the catchers, the guys behind the plate, especially after Miguel Montero's big night here last night.
Yeah, really good to see Miggy have a bounce-back night last night. By all accounts, it's been a subpar season for Miguel Montero, but last night shortened up his swing, said he was just trying to play pepper, and got rewarded with a 3-for-3 night. He drew a couple of walks, drove in 3 runs. Really good to see Miguel have a big night last night. Hopefully that will continue. He can really finish strong this year.
And that long home run that made it a ball game again late last night. Behind the plate for the Rockies once again, he is leading all National League catchers in both home runs and RBIs. It's Willeen Rosario.
This guy is a hitter. There's no question that he can be a strong offensive force in the National League. The question was, could he handle the workload behind the plate? We were both pleasantly surprised by what we saw from Rosario last night. Has really worked on blocking, on framing pitches. This guy's got a chance to be one of the best catchers in the game if he continues to improve.
When we come back, we'll talk pitching. It's Brad on Brad. The back end of the bullpen, Brad Ziegler has been the closer. We'll talk about Brad's future here with the Diamondbacks. He has been the man. So it's Brad on the Z-Man when we come back. First pitch on the way. You're watching the Arizona Diamondbacks only here on Fox Sports Arizona.
Brought to you in part by BMO Harris. Visit BMOHarris.com to help make money make sense. And by Fulton Home. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
And welcome back to Chase Field, where tonight the Arizona Diamondbacks host their 15th annual Hispanic Heritage Day. They are also hosting the Colorado Rockies, Game 2 of this 3-game series against Colorado. 4 more coming later this week against the LA Dodgers. You know, the bullpen this year for the Arizona Diamondbacks has been up and down, but one of the most consistent performers has been right-hander Brad Ziegler. The key for him is avoiding the long ball and keeping the ball on the ground.
Some of my off-speed pitches, I feel like they're pitches that the guys can elevate a little bit, and so as long as they don't hit them hard, I'm fine with that, because I'm not just going to sit and pound my fastball over and over again. But if they're hitting my fastball, I hope it's on the ground, and you know, we've got one of the best defenses in baseball, if not the best, and so I just got to rely on those guys, and as you know, hopefully they hit them right at them, and our guys will make the play every time.
Oh, it's always great to see a Brad doing well. Since July 11th, he has been incredible, as he has given up no home runs, a 4-0 record, 9 out of 11 saves, and his ERA is sparkling at 1.85. That funky sidearm delivery, really a change of pace for teams as they battle him in the 9th inning. The D-backs hoping he gets a chance for a save tonight as they take on the Rockies here at Chase Field. Wade Miley going for his 10th win of the season. He'll face Roy Oswalt, who was going for his first win of the season. Steve and Bob back for the call, live on Fox Sports Arizona after the break.
Today, the 15th annual event put on by the Diamondbacks and our friends at Budweiser. Big street festival outside Chase Field, and then 20,000 Miguel Montero bobbleheads handed out to D-back Nation courtesy of Subway restaurants. And now the D-backs in their Los D-backs jerseys and the Diamond Era 5950 BP caps. Not just Saturday Black today, the Los D-backs Saturday Black on Hispanic Heritage Day. This is the lineup for Walt Weiss's Colorado Rockies.
Charlie Blackmon once again in center field. DJ LeMahieu at second base. Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop, the National League's leading hitter. Michael Kadire in right field. Rosario had a big game last night behind the plate and at the plate. He'll be catching. Todd Helton at first base. Nolan Arenado at third. Charlie Culberson in left field tonight. And veteran right-hander Roy Oswalt on the mound for the Rockies.
Your Arizona Ford dealers. Diamondback starting pitcher is Wade Miley. His 30th start this year. That's a career high. And Wade tonight taking another shot at joining Randy Johnson as the second D-backs lefty with double-digit wins in back-to-back seasons. It's taken a while, though. Wade has not won since August 6th.
He actually pitched really well last time out against the Giants. It was kind of an unusual outing for Wade Miley. 7 of the first 12 outs of the game were fly balls to the outfield, which is highly unusual for Wade. Had a leadoff walk in the 4th inning that came around to score on a wild pitch. Later gave up a double and a single, but that was it. Gave up 2 runs against the Giants in 7 innings of work.
They mentioned all those fly balls, very unusual for Wade Miley. He has become one of baseball's best ground ball pitchers. The ground ball rate this year is over 52%. Only 6 starters in all the major leagues throw more frequent ground balls than Wade Miley. Charlie Blackmon leads us off. We are underway on Hispanic Heritage Day at Chase Field. It's a ball to Blackmon, 1-0. Los D-backs with the caps. It's a good look. The roof panels are closed. We're hoping, fingers crossed, they'll be open soon into the ball game here. Adam Eaton into the corner and left center for the first out. Defensively, the Diamondbacks look like this. A start at third base today, Bob, for Matt Davidson.
Yeah, good to see Martin Prado getting a start in left. We've seen Adam Eaton in center, Gerardo Parra out in right field once again. Matt Davidson and Didi Gregorius on the left side of the infield. Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Last night's offensive star, Miguel Montero, behind the plate for lefty Wade Miley.
And there is Matt getting the start at third base. And as Bob mentioned, Wade Miley had all those fly ball outs his last time out. And sure enough, a deep fly ball to center for the first out here this afternoon. DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman. 288, 2 homers, and 25 RBIs. LeMahieu, a pair of singles and an RBI last night. That extended his hitting streak to a career best 13 games, hitting .389 during his hit streak. And remarkably, 8 of those 13 games during the streak are 2-hit games. They're coming in bunches these days for LeMahieu. Green 1.
I don't know how many hit streaks DJ LeMahieu will have over the course of his career, but his approach at the plate and his knowledge of the game, his willingness to give himself up, he's going to be a valuable member of this Rockies offense.
Having a very good second half. Couple of strikes. Miley is full 3-2. LeMahieu from Brother Rice High School in Michigan. We mentioned he played at LSU. Second round pick by the Cubs in the '09 draft. Traded here to Colorado along with Tyler Colvin following the 2011 season for Ian Stewart and Casey Weathers. And he's got himself a base hit here. So now make it 14 straight games for DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, LeMahieu, big tall guy, doesn't generate a lot of power, which is why the Cubs kind of lost interest in him, but a good contact hitter, sprays the ball from foul line to foul line with that short, quick swing.
Brings up Troy Tulowitzki. .313 and 22 home runs. Rockies last night got 2 runs in the first, all with 2 outs against Brandon McCarthy. Miley trying to put a goose egg up there in the first inning tonight. But he'll have to work to Tulo, coming off a 3-hit night last night, all singles. He scored twice.
Well, you can say it about Tulo and just about every other hitter in this Rockies lineup. You always have to watch that first pitch. You definitely want to get ahead in the count if possible, but it has to be a quality strike. These guys love to attack early in the count.
Brandon McCarthy gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning last night. Gave up a bunch of hits after that, almost all of them with 2 outs, but he was able to limit the damage during his portion of the ball game to only the 2 runs. On the ground is short. Didi Gregorius, Aaron Hill, Goldie, they roll it. We mentioned Wade Miley and all those ground balls he throws this year. Well, that one was exactly what he needed. A double play ends the top of the first, just underway here at Chase Field. Hispanic Heritage Day at Chase Field, set for the home half of the first inning. Diamondbacks 5-1 in their last 6 home games against Colorado, and this is their lineup tonight against the veteran Roy Oswalt.
Adam Eaton in center, Aaron Hill at second, Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Martin Prado in the cleanup spot tonight, followed by Miguel Montero, who'll do the catching. Matt Davidson at third base, Gerardo Parra out in right field, Didi Gregorius once again at shortstop, and lefty Wade Miley on the mound for the D-backs.
Adam Eaton leads it off. There's a strike from 36-year-old Roy Oswalt. He has made 4 starts for the Rockies this season and lost all of them. He gave up 9 hits in each of his first 3 starts. His 4th start was right here against the D-backs on July 7th. And Oswalt had to leave in the 2nd inning with a left hamstring strain that put him on the DL for 2 months. He's just come back. This is his 2nd appearance back from the DL, but his first start. He worked 3 1/3 in relief at San Diego on Sunday. Gave up 5 runs, all earned. Adams swings as it rolls away from Rosario, but he pounces on it, makes a nice play. And Bob, that's another example of what you talked about in the open. His defense has looked better.
Yeah, he blocked a lot of balls in the dirt last night. Some borderline pitches that in the past he would have pushed out of the zone. He was able to hold on the corners of the plate. Smothers this ball, keeps it close enough that he can get to it and fire on to first base in time to get Adam Eaton. I mentioned it in the open of the show, with his offense, which has never been in question, if he continues to improve defensively the way he has this season, you're looking at a perennial all-star.
Aaron Hill, 295 and 9 homers. Roy Oswalt, 3 All-Star games, 6 top 6 finishes in the Cy Young voting, a playoff pitcher both with Houston and Philadelphia. This is his first start back from injury in the big leagues, his 2nd appearance.
Yeah, some good news for Roy Oswalt. He was named Texas League Pitcher of the Week last week. First time he'd won that award since July 30th of 2000.
Little gap in there
just
between the two.
Just a little bit.
Honors. 1-1 to Aaron Hill. Former 23rd round pick by the Astros in the 96 draft out of Ware, Mississippi. Roy Oswalt.
I'll tell you, he's been good for a long time. You go back to the beginning of this century. I mean, he's 3rd among right-handers in wins, 4th in ERA, 4th in strikeouts, 3rd in quality starts. His whip would rank 8th. He's been good for a long time.
But this year he's given up 33 hits in 21 innings. He does not walk anybody, only 4 walks still. He rings up Aaron Hill. But he can still get some strikeouts, and he's got 2 here to open the ball game. This is the last time Roy Oswalt was here. We mentioned this, July 7th. He had to leave in the 2nd inning.
It looked so innocent at the time, but left hamstring went. You see him hobbling across home plate there as that ball got away from Rosario. Had to be helped off the field.
And that was it. He was lost for 2 months. Goldie. .296, 31 home runs, a league-leading 109 RBIs. Paul was on base 3 times last night with a single and a pair of walks. He scored a run. And right now has 7 hits in his last 13 at bats. Martin Prado is on deck. Oswalt strikes out the side in the 1st. We are through 1, no score. Hey fans, coming up, big series against the Dodgers starting Monday. 4-game set, and we want to see you out here helping us protect our home turf wearing Sedona Red each day of the 4-game series. We are giving out 5,000 Sedona Red t-shirts, but with different We Back slogans for every shirt. So make sure you get your tickets for this exciting series and collect your Sedona Red We Back t-shirts. Call 602-462-4600 or log on to dbacks.com/tickets. 4 games, 4 t-shirts, all different looks. Michael Kadire leads off the Colorado second against Wade Miley. Michael Kadire, the National League's leading hitter at .335. Pair of hits last night, a double, a single. He scored twice. That one is rolled to first. Goldie on the backhander. Wade Miley's got to hurry, and he wins the foot race.
Tell you what, I like the way Goldie handles that particular play. A lot of first basemen will wait and try to lead the pitcher right to the bag so that the ball, the runner, the base, everything gets there at the same time. But Goldie gives it up quickly, gets the ball to Wade Miley, lets him catch the baseball and then find the base, and he wins the foot race with Michael Kadire.
I was just thinking that because so oftentimes you'll see just what you said. Everything gets there at the same time. Wade had a chance to catch the ball, kind of set himself and measure it and win the race to the bag to get Kadire. That brings up Aline Rosario. Leading all National League catchers in home runs and runs batted in.
You go back just a little over a month to August 9th against left-handed pitching. Rosario hitting .444 with 3 doubles, 3 homers, and 12 driven in. This is exactly how you like him at the plate. Nobody on base.
He's 24 years old. Walt Weiss has said that this is a kid that is really talented, and you can see him right in front of your eyes making adjustments and learning as he goes along. Among catchers since last year, at the top of the list.
Well, and obviously he's a guy that's not afraid to work. I mean, guys love to work on your hitting. They love to get in the cage, take extra BP, watch video, but to work on your catching skills, that is not fun.
It's thankless. I see the Diamondbacks guys do it every day as they strike out Rosario, 2 down. Tony Randazzo, the first base umpire. It's drudgery, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, just blocking balls in the dirt. I mean, the Diamondbacks catchers today, as you mentioned, working on blocking balls at 1:30 this afternoon out here in the sunshine with the roof open.
You see the back of that t-shirt. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Very appropriate for catchers.
Todd Helton. 1-0.
And it can be mind-numbingly boring. I mean, one of the things Rosario has had to work on as the season has gone on is his receiving skills. I mentioned it, making those borderline pitches look a little better than they really are, and the best way to do that is to either catch live pitching in the bullpen, which I'm sure he does a lot of, or just set up a pitching machine and have it throw him one fastball after another on the outside corner and just catch pitch after pitch after pitch. Move the machine over so it's throwing on the inside corner, frame those pitches, pitch after pitch after pitch, for hours sometimes.
It's interesting. We've seen all kinds of different catchers over the course of this season. You hear some referred to as good receivers of the baseball, which is odd because that's what they all do. They are catchers, after all, by definition.
Well, some just do it a little better than others.
It's interesting. 2-2. Todd Helton hitless last night. He walked and scored a run. Lefty's not a problem for Helton this year. He's actually hitting over 300 versus left-hand pitchers. Just does get a piece of that one to stay alive. And for his career, his distinguished career, now at 40 years old, Helton has hit .298 against lefties. So not that big a deal for him to be in the lineup tonight.
Well, we've talked about his defensive prowess at first base. You know, I mentioned it many times. Keith Hernandez, for me, kind of revolutionized the position, made it an aggressive position, an athletic position.
Up the middle, Aaron Hill. What a play! There's some athleticism from the Diamondbacks second baseman who ends the top of the second. Aaron Hill. Go get it. Still no score. It off against Roy Oswalt, who struck out the side in order in the bottom of the first. Prado, Montero, Davidson 4, 5, and 6. How about that play by Aaron Hill, Bob? He was almost in left field when he made that throw.
Yeah, it helps to know your opposition. Todd Helton does a lot of things well on a baseball field. Running is not one of them. Yeah, for a lot of opposing hitters, you probably just stick that ball in your pocket and concede an infield hit. But Aaron Hill knew who was running, made that jump toss from shallow center field right on the money.
Martin Prado at 280, 13 homers, and 73 RBIs. He was 1 for 5 with a single last night. Another look at Aaron Hill ending the top of the second inning.
Yeah, for some of the faster runners in this Rockies lineup, Aaron Hill making that many steps, bending over up the middle of the field, he probably just hangs on to the baseball, but knew it was worth a shot and made a perfect throw to get Helton.
Oswalt did not get the call from plate umpire Manny Gonzalez there, and it's a 2-2 count to Prado. He's apparently entertaining the troops back there. A reminder, fans, every time the Diamondbacks hit a home run this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. "15 pitches so far for Roy Oswalt. Only 4 have been balls." Popped him up. Very short left field. Tulowitzki calling off Culberson. He's got it for the first out.
Well, there was a time early in his career where Roy Oswalt was just a power pitcher. Good fastball in the mid to upper 90s, a power curveball. Didn't really mess around changing speeds too much, just overpowered opposing hitters. But as his career has gone on and his experience has gone up, he'll add a little, take a little off. He'll throw a real slow curveball in the mid 60s. He'll throw a harder curveball in the high 70s, low 80s. As a slider, a changeup, couple different fastballs, and he will add and subtract on all those pitches.
Miguel Montero on his bobblehead day.
Crafty veteran.
He's got to be. He's also crafty about when he pitches. There are the Miggy bobbleheads. As we mentioned this, Roy over the last several years kind of starts when he feels like it, which is fine. He's earned that right. And the Rockies, as we talked about yesterday, they have sort of an open want ad for pitchers, so come on over. You want to start May, June? No problem. Miggy reached base 5 times in 5 plate appearances last night. 2 singles, 2 walks, and a long 3-run homer. His 11th of the year. Up the middle, base hit. Can't keep him off base, and the Miguel Montero bobblehead has been well traveled. The bobbleheads that were handed out today. First, the Miggy bobblehead, which went on the last road trip, visiting McCovey Cove behind AT&T Park in San Francisco. Lovely shot. And then at Dodger Stadium, took some batting practice. And now it's back home.
There's a lot of friends here tonight.
20,000 of them. Matt Davidson. Hard to left. Culberson coming in, and it gets behind him, and here we go. Montero heads for third. He'll stop there. Second and third. 1 out for the Diamondbacks. Unfortunately for Arizona, it didn't roll too far behind Culberson, and everybody has to hold up. Thought that one might initially roll to the track of the wall, and then we'd have something going.
Yeah, it looked like Culberson just got a piece of that ball to keep it from rolling all the way to the warning track. Nice little soft line drive into left field. Just got a little bit of it, enough to slow it down, keep it from rolling all the way to the wall.
They rule it a double for Matt Davidson. His second big league double. Second and third, 1 out for Gerardo Parra. Matt Davidson jumping on the first pitch there. There's a strike to Parra. Gerardo 266, 10 homers and 41 RBIs. 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Both Charlies involved on that play in the Colorado outfield. Charlie Culberson is the left fielder, and Charlie Blackmon is the center fielder. Gerardo Parra already over 600 plate appearances for the season. That's over 100 more than he's had in any other year. Career numbers against Oswalt. Gerardo this year has had career highs in hits, doubles, and home runs. Drives it to right center. That gets down, and he'll score 2, and Parra heads for second. 2-0 Diamondbacks. Gerardo Parra, that's double number 36.
Pitch up over the heart of the plate. Parra really drove that ball to the gap in right center field. Little elevation. He might have gotten that one out of here. As it is, double to the gap in right center, scoring 2.
A single and back-to-back doubles have made it 2-0 D-backs, and here's Didi. There's that slow breaking ball. He drops it in there for a strike. 0-1 to Gregorius, who's at 260 and 7 homers.
Well, when the last 3 hitters have touched up some fastballs, that stands to reason Roy Oswald's going to start mixing it up a little bit.
Well, you throw 170 and then 191. Quickly ahead 0-2. Didi, good numbers against the Rockies this year. Nearly a 400 hitter in 9 games. There's that slow ball again. He goes down and knocks it to third. Arenado's there for the second out. And a chance for Wade Miley to drive in a run here.
You mentioned both Charlies involved in that Matt Davidson drive into left field. I got a topper for you, partner. On this day in baseball history, 1991, Baltimore's Juan Bell had it at bat against Cleveland's Eric Bell. Flied out to left field to Albert Bell.
Was Buddy Bell involved?
I don't think so.
Well, does Albert Bell count because he spelled his with an E?
Yeah, he has that extra E on there, but you know,
I love it.
It just kind of rolls. I like that. 91.
How'd you find that?
There's a great site I like to check every day just to see if there's anything significant on there. It's called nationalpastime.com. They have a lot of little nuggets, things that have happened in baseball history.
Yeah, the Joe DiMaggio's hit streaks in those dates. Anybody can do those, but I like the really obscure ones. That's tremendous. Well, he threw that one in there at 65. September 14th, 1986. Remember this day. That's 1. Now keep in mind this is all in the same inning.
2 and 3.
Hold on, wait, there's more now. How much would you pay? 4 errors in 1 inning, but then he redeems himself. Arenado will roll to third. He handles that one okay.
Anybody can do that.
Some of us make them tougher than they look. 2-0 Diamondbacks through 2. Gerardo Parra drives in a pair.
It all starts with our
And they've staked Wade Miley to a 2-0 lead as we open the third. Nolan Arenado, Charlie Culberson, and Roy Oswald. 7, 8, 9 for the Rockies. Hey, I love tacos too, Miggy. Well, let's see. We need, 4 more runs.
Working on it.
Miguel Montero bobblehead day today.
Be a good day for Taco. Sorry to interrupt you there, partner.
Ahead.
Anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
He's off to a good start on his own bobblehead day. A single and a run scored. And now we're set to go for the third. This is Nolan Arenado, the third baseman. First pitch swinging, foul away behind the Rocky dugout. Arenado at 268 and 10 homers. He was 0 for 4 in last night's series opener. He's dressed as a taco. It's original. Aaron Hill.
When he goes to Taco Bell, he dresses like a baseball player, so all evens out.
Now, what would happen if you went to Taco Bell dressed as a taco?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see the outfit standing up. I want to get a whole look at this thing here. I think he's got cheddar cheese with lettuce. I'm not sure if that's a hard shell or not.
Halloween's right around the corner. He's ready to roll.
What's Jimmy going as this Halloween? Well, Jimmy's going as a taco.
He's been dressed as a taco ever since the 14th of September.
We can't get him out of that taco outfit. Charlie Culberson. In the air down the right field line. Goldie in a full sprint. Outside of room. Charlie Culberson, first round pick by the Giants out of high school in Calhoun, Georgia, 07 draft. He played in 6 games with the Giants last year before coming over to Colorado in a Marco Scutaro deal at the trade deadline. And he's got himself a base hit over the glove of Didi Gregorius. Second hit for the Rockies, both singles.
Pitcher number 44, Roy Oswalt.
Here's Roy Oswalt. And now with a pitcher up and a runner on first, Matt Davidson cheats in on the edge of the grass at third. Right in front of home plate, Montero calls off Miley. Culberson moves up to second, 2 outs. Brings up the top of the order, Charlie Blackmon.
Center fielder, Charlie Blackmon.
Well, you can look a lot of different numbers for Roy Oswalt and tell it's been a subpar season. Only 4 starts this year, a total of 21 innings. He did pitch in relief one time. His ERA nearly 9. Hasn't won a game, and he's only had 3 at bats all year. That's not good for a starting pitcher.
He's not in there that long to get any more than that. It's kind of been that type of year for Roy. Missing 2 months certainly didn't help either. Charlie Blackmon, a left-hand hitter who has handled himself pretty well against lefty pitching, 275, which is about the same as his average against righty, so he can lead off against a lefty if need be. And he's doing so tonight. Got a runner on second now and 2 outs. Charlie Blackmon, high school in Suwanee, Georgia. They have a lot of Southerners on this Rockies team. He went to Georgia Tech. Second-round pick by the Rockies in 08. He was a pitcher in high school and into junior college. In fact, he was drafted as a pitcher twice by both the Marlins and the Red Sox, but went to Georgia Tech instead, and there he was converted into an outfielder. Wound up leading Georgia Tech in batting average, hits, on base percentage his first year as a position player, and became a second-round pick by the Rockies. That's a call. Strike 3 by Manny Gonzalez. Second strikeout for Wade Miley. He strands Culberson and sends us to the bottom of the third with a 2-0 Diamondbacks lead. Leads off the Diamondbacks third, leading 2-0 against Roy Owenswald. Eaton, Hill, Goldie 1, 2, and 3. D-backs got 2 in the second. Montero singled, and then back-to-back doubles by Matt Davidson and Gerardo Parra. Strike 1 to Eaton, who struck out his first time up. Adam, a pair of hits last night, a single, a double. He scored a run. Got to find out what the deal is with these sleeves these guys wear. I want to say it was Jacoby Ellsbury who kind of started it. He's the first guy I remember seeing, and they wear just the one sleeve. I'm sure there's a reason why, but I can't imagine what it is.
Well, it looks like it's a very tight compression sleeve. I don't know that Adam Eaton has had any issues with his left arm at all. Certainly he's had some issues with his left elbow in the past, but it might be just to provide some support to that throwing arm, or just to look cool.
Oftentimes it's the second thing. The compression sleeve has become très chic. Todd Helton's got some elbow gear over there. Boy, he's gone to that slow curveball a lot lately. How about that for a differential?
Nearly a 30-mile-per-hour differential from his best fastball so far in this game to his slowest breaking pitch.
Might have you swinging out of your shoes from time to time. 2-2. Hold the shortstop. Tulo's there. One away. Let's go downstairs to Brad. Brad.
Well, talking to Adam Eaton earlier today, he's a little banged up. He made a pretty nice effort last night on Willeen Rosario's base hit in that first inning. He said just as he went to dive for the play, the ground gave way, and you see a little bit of a divot pop up, but he rolled over that left shoulder, and the left hand was under there, and it's a little bit of inflammation on that left hand. He says he's going to have to be kind of a bottom hand hitter today, not be able to turn that over with that left hand, but a little bit of swelling and a little bit of tightness in that shoulder. But he's a gamer. He's out there again. I think that's probably why that sleeve is on that left arm right now.
Boy, so often, Bob, we see outfielders injure themselves coming in and diving for balls like that by either landing on a wrist or an arm or a shoulder, and all kinds of things can go wrong in those types of plays, it seems.
Occasionally the webbing of the glove will get caught up in the grass and they end up hyperextending their wrist. It's a dangerous play, no question about it. That's why a lot of outfielders choose not to dive headfirst. Steve Finley never dove headfirst in his entire career. He always led with his feet. He felt he could still cover as much ground and get to the balls he should get to, but he just never went headfirst.
So just sort of slid into it all the time. It would certainly lessen the impact. There's Tulowitzki again on the edge of the grass for the second out. Look at how he lands here. Wrists, fingers, elbows, shoulders, collarbones, all kinds of things could go wrong.
That left arm, left hand come awkwardly out from underneath his body, bouncing along the turf out there.
Was that why Finns would do that? Did he do it that way on purpose?
Yeah, he just felt he could cover as much ground going into a slide and reaching out with that glove on his right hand as he could trying to make a head-first dive, and obviously protected himself against a lot of potential game-costing injuries.
Ball one to Goldie. Charlie Blackmon is in center field, and he is shaded pretty well over toward right center for Goldie. There's a huge gap in left center field right now. Might Bob Goldie get another look or two at one of those curveballs.
I was just thinking the same thing. Been a long home run drought for Goldie by his standards. Oswald may choose the wrong count to roll a curveball up there, and Goldie might hit it off that out-of-town scoreboard down the left field line.
Sounds like a hungry dog looking at a steak. Yep.
Heads up.
Hit it here. Fastball, and he gets him for the second time of the ball game. Now 4 strikeouts for Roy Oswalt. He's got Goldschmidt twice, but the Diamondbacks have a 2-0 lead.
Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Fourth inning at Chase Field. Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 2-0. Wade Miley will work to DJ LeMahieu, Troy Tulowitzki, and Michael Kadire, 2, 3, and 4 in the Colorado fourth. LeMahieu singled his first time to extend his hit streak to a career-high 14 games. He's hit in 14 in a row. And he is continuing his role since the All-Star break, hitting better than .310. Wade Miley winless in his last 6 starts. 0-2 over that span. He has pitched to an ERA right at 4.5 during the winless streak. And he's been a bit more hittable lately. During the winless stretch, he's given up 39 hits in less than 37 innings. He's given up 2 base hits tonight, both singles. There's the strikeout. Number 3 for Miley, 1 away in the 4th. Let's update our old AT&T Twitter poll question. Remember, we started this yesterday. We're going to continue it through the weekend here. Your favorite extra inning game this year? That game against the Yankees, April 18th, got about 50% of the vote last night. Boy, I'd pick, I think I might pick April 3rd, the longest game in Chase Field history. And who knew when we went extras there and played a walk-off what lay ahead?
Should have been a foreshadowing.
As we sit here, we are 1 inning away from the most extra innings in one season in the history of Major League Baseball, right behind the '69 Twins. So that makes this almost the longest season in baseball history, baby. And you have hung in admirably.
Had a few days off there in the middle of the season, which helped recharge the battery for the stretch run.
We had a road trip where we had a 60-inning game in Pittsburgh, followed by an 18-inning game in Philly that went 7 hours and 6 minutes, the longest game in Diamondbacks history. This season has seen the longest game in this ballpark's history and in franchise history in separate games. Off the glove of Didi at short, and Tulowitzki's aboard. And here's what we're talking about. 1 back of those '69 Twins.
Hey, we've come this far. We have to play at least 2 extra innings sometime between now and the end of the year.
How's your how many games is that? How's your Gazintas?
9 Gazinta.
Jethro, I'll do my Jethro Bodine math here.
8 plus
75
full games
divided by 9 is 8.33. So yeah, that's almost an extra 9 games. Whew. Michael Kadire grounded out his first time. Math. Kadire's hit in 6 straight and 11 of his last 12. Batting about .450 over that span, including 3 home runs. That's tough. You go up to, imagine opening day, somebody from Major League Baseball's office comes up. Hey, your guys are you're gonna have to play an extra 9 games this year. 9 extra games that adds up to. Imagine what that does. And all of it, by the way, has got to be picked up by the bullpen, right?
Yeah. That's where you could make the argument that Josh Colementer's been the most valuable, certainly pitcher, if not player, on this team this year.
High chopper to third. Davidson comes in and makes a nice play. They get Kadire at first. Back the second out. Tulo moves up. Good look at Matt Davidson's defense there, Bob, and we've talked about the improving footwork from Matt.
Yeah, very nice. Kept himself under control that time. Got to the ball. Got a nice grip, strong throw on the run. Well, I'll tell you, anytime you can get some relatively easy plays, especially early in a ball game, you kind of get into a rhythm with the game, and it makes fielding a lot easier. If you have some tough chances early in the game and the ball's bouncing around, hitting you in the kneecaps and playing it off the heel of the glove.
You mean,
yeah,
like you did that one inning?
Did, yeah.
It's going to say funny you're mentioning that today.
Because I'll tell you something. You hear players talk all the time about, oh, I made an error early in the inning, so I was hoping they'd hit another ball to me so I could make up for it.
That wasn't you?
Oh, no. Please don't hit anything else down here.
See how William Rosario is, as Manny Gonzalez will give him a moment to collect himself.
Toe tap there from Rosario, a timing mechanism. Man, right down off the instep.
Training staff is out there now. Yeah, the ball that day just had a way of finding you.
I blame Mike Lacoste. He was our pitcher, big league veteran pitcher. You should know to keep the ball away from the guy playing out of position.
Yeah, that's just fundamentals.
Well, I mean, if you're going to make errors, this is the way to do it. Made one to my left, made one coming straight in, made a throwing error. And then this one, you know, I just got my feet all crossed up. We talk about Matt Davidson's footwork at third base. I will definitely not be helping him with that.
But the greatest part of that is this.
Yeah, I hit a home run after making those 4 errors to put us on the board. Had a bases loaded double to drive home a couple, and then hit the game winner. Whew. Boy, that was ugly. Jeez.
I don't know, you got pretty quick feet, it looks like. I don't know about the hands.
Chasing it down and picking it up. I mean, I don't even remember who the third base umpire was that day, but with each successive error, he kept backing up further and further away from me. I think he was afraid he was going to catch something. Yeah, and all you want to do is talk to somebody at that point, whether it's a runner at third or the third base coach or the umpire, just somebody so you don't hear what the fans are doing in the stands and you don't see the guys in the other dugout bent over laughing at you.
Well, in your defense, did you start that game at third?
Well, I was in the dugout with my catcher's gear on literally 10 minutes before the anthem. And Roger Craig came up and said, hey, Chris Brown was scheduled to start at third base, had some kind of an injury. And he told me you're going to have to play third base today. So I took off my gear, borrowed a glove from Brad Wellman, one of our utility infielders, and went down to third base. My excuse is I had no fungos that day, didn't have a chance to take any grounders, so that's why it happened.
You only started 56 career games at third base. So sporadic activity at best. Right to Parra. A strand to Lewinsky, and it stays 2-0. Century Link, your link to what's next. Coming up on his bobblehead day, it's Miguel Montero with a fourth. Playing the Rockies, fun and apparently patriotic times at the Ramtrucks pool. Great place to watch a game. No idea. Got absolutely no clue.
Possibly the Olympic water polo team? I don't know.
Some kind of calendar shoot, maybe. Gonna have to find out what's going on with that. Prado, Montero, Davidson 4, 5, and 6 against Roy Oswalt in the bottom of the fourth. Martin popped up his first time. They certainly are filled with patriotic spirit. And probably 1 or 2 beers.
Talking about my defensive misadventures down there at third base for the Giants. Of course, first base coach Steve Sachs had some issues occasionally with the Dodgers with his throws at second. And at the time I was playing against Saxey and the Dodgers, Tommy Lasorda was managing, and they had Pedro Guerrero playing first base. That one lofted foul down the right field line. And after a particularly tough defensive game, Tommy asked Pedro Guerrero, "Pete, what do you think about when the ball's put into play?" I said, "Well, I think don't hit it to me." "Well, what's the next thing you think?" "Don't hit it to Saxey."
Well, you get the yips, and well, what you do is you work on your fundamentals here at Chase Field. Professional instruction. This is not just some little T-ball field. This is big time. You got coaches out there. D-backs Baseball Academy.
Yeah, if you hit enough, you can make a few errors.
Center field, Charlie Blackmon.
Sing along.
Well, here's Miggy. Keeps getting on base. He reached base in all 5 plate appearances yesterday. And he singled the leadoff, or singled in his first at bat today. So 6 plate appearances, 6 times on base. That young man is dressed as a taco. 0-1. Miggy hitting .314 in the 13 games since he came back from the back trouble that kept him out of the lineup for a month. And now Zari and Oswalt need to discuss this. How's Miggy's swing looking? Let's ask him. This is Miggy yesterday.
Yesterday I tried something different and give me a good results. And you know, I'm hopefully today I can go out there and do the same. I mean, obviously the results are not going to be always 3 for 3 with a homer, and you know, but hopefully I get a good approach at the plate.
I was him earlier today talking about yesterday when he had the big day. Got up on base all 5 times, 2 singles, 2 walks, and a 3-run homer. There's another base hit for Miguel Montero. He has reached base safely in 7 straight plate appearances. 4 singles, 2 walks, and a 3-run homer.
Now the 7 straight plate appearances ties Martin Prado for the second longest of this season. Gerardo Parra had an 8 consecutive at-bat reaching base streak earlier this season, back in April.
Miggy 2 for 2. Matt Davidson doubled his first time.
Geez, the record's only 9 for the Diamondbacks. Greg Colburn in 2000, Raul Mondesi in 2003, and Mark Reynolds in 2007. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, it's only the 4th inning. He's going to get at least a couple of more plate appearances here. And we'll see if Matt Davidson can get a pitch to hit. He doubled and scored in the second. Lined one to the gap in left center field. Base hit. And Davidson 2 for 2. Off the fists and into left. And just like the second inning here, Bob, Montero and Davidson have reached with the 1-out base hits.
Change up that just kind of drifted on that inside part of the plate. Davidson got jammed just a little bit, but with Tulowitzki cheating up the middle of the field, anticipating a double play, found that hole on the left side.
Gerardo Parra, 2-run double. In his first at bat, he drove it to the gap in right center. He scored Miggy and Davidson, and those two guys are on base ahead of Parra again right now. Diamondbacks about hit the Rockies 5-3. Just keep wondering how long he's going to get away with that pitch. Not seeing what he wants.
They haven't really been on the same page all night long. Rosario behind the dish, Oswald on the mound, especially with the runner at second base. The opposing catcher peering in at those signs. They're really having some issues.
1-1.
There's a lot of different ways to try to disguise those signs from a runner at second base. Many times it's very simple. First sign, last sign, first sign after the number 2. And then you can make it as difficult as you want. And after you go through that sequence of signs, if he shakes his head no,
start over.
Usually it immediately rolls over to the first sign. Because, you know, everybody wants to try to keep the game moving. Nobody wants to see a pitcher out there shaking his head no, 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 no. The catcher searching for the right call. So many teams, after you shake off the initial sign with the runner at second, it's the first sign you see.
Yeah, but if I'm Mickey standing on second, can I see that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Which is why, you know, you have to make them difficult enough so the runner at second can't easily figure them out, but not so difficult that you get a situation like we have here where they just can't get on the same page.
Everybody's locked up. Parra ahead 2-1. Montero on second. Davidson on first.
Miggy's more involved in a conversation with Tulo than he is trying to steal signs.
Oh, right to the glove. And they double off Montero at second. Bad break for the Diamondbacks. That went right into Roy Oswald's glove, and they double off Montero to win the inning. Somehow he just stuck the glove out there, got it. Tulowitzki covers, and that ends the fourth. He's 2-0 as we start the fifth, and it is now cool enough to open things up here at Chase Field. The roof is open and let the sun in and the whole thing. Hey fans, nightly on Fox Sports Live, you can join Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole along with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. Love this ballpark when everything's open. And it is a beautiful Saturday night in downtown Phoenix, and we will play the fifth inning on with a roof open. Todd Helton, Nolan Arenado, Charlie Culberson, 6, 7, and 8 for the Rockies against Wade Miley. So far, Wade has given up only 3 hits, all singles. Helton grounded out his first time. He's 0 for 1. A slow September for Todd Helton in what could very well be the final month of his long career. He's at 243 on the season, but he's hitting under 170 in September. And less than 230 since the All-Star break. And things may be winding down.
I started to talk earlier about his defense at first base. For me, Keith Hernandez back in the 80s kind of set the bar for aggressive defense from a first baseman. Many times that was a position where your big home run hitter went to just stand down there and catch throws from the infielder. But Keith Hernandez came along and he was aggressive charging bunts, aggressive turning double plays, and Todd Helton kind of picked up that mantle and carried it forward.
Aaron Hill off the glove, recovers, and he gets Helton again. Aaron Hill threw out Todd Helton on a terrific play to end the second, and he just took another base hit away from Helton right there.
Well, you better try somebody else, Todd, because Aaron Hill has been up to the task tonight. Our Chaz Roberts, cool play of the game. Could have been either one of the Todd Helton ground balls up the middle. This one hits the glove, drops down. Has to bend over and scoop it up with his bare hand, and still fires on in time to get Helton.
Chaz Roberts air conditioning, cool play of the game, 1 out in the fifth. Nolan Arenado grounded out to Aaron Hill, his first time. Nolan Arenado, second round pick in the 09 draft out of El Toro High School in Lake Forest, California. And he's been considered the Rockies' top position prospect ever since, and he's done a good job in this his rookie season. He's a former Arizona Fall League MVP. Just 22 years old. .60 pitches now for Wade Miley, 40 for strikes.
That time that ball missed the glove. Miggy went down into a blocking position, had that right hand behind the glove, and the ball missed the mitt and hit him on the arm, possibly on the back of the hand. Not quite sure. He was shaking it out there after the play. Ouch.
3-2. Ball 4. First walk issued by Wade Miley. Rockies will have a 1-out base runner for Charlie Culberson, who singled his last time up.
Beautiful. What a night.
Downtown Phoenix, Chase Field. Hispanic Heritage Day here, 15th annual event put on by the Diamondbacks and our friends at Budweiser. Big street festival outside the ballpark before the game, and 20,000 Miguel Montero bobbleheads handed out as D-back Nation came through the turnstiles. There's a strike, 0-1, or 1-1, pardon me. No, 0-1. We're good. And the D-backs wearing their Los D-backs jerseys and their Diamond Era 59-50 batting practice caps. 0-2. Here's the look on Wade Miley.
You can see that sweat about halfway down the bill of Wade's cap already. I'm sure the black top part of the hat is completely soaked. It's not uncommon for a pitcher to change undershirts and jerseys 2 or 3 times during the course of a ball game. Lose a lot of fluids out there on the mound working as hard as they do.
It's a 3-shirt day.
Yeah.
I've worked with anchormen who have those. They shall remain nameless. 1-2. There's the strikeout. That's number 4 for Wade Miley. 2 down.
Well, that flop sweat can get to you. Yeah. I had never heard that term before until I started doing some national games and botched a few opens to games. And boy, I'm telling you.
Get Brenly a new shirt. It's hard to tell yourself to stop sweating. Sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Miggy just trying to slow down the pace a little bit here. Wade Miley, as we've talked about in past starts, he gets a little ahead of himself. I'm sure he thinks, okay, 2 outs in the inning. I have the pitcher at the plate. Just put him away. Let's get in the dugout. But still have to execute your pitches.
Roller up the middle, Didi Gregorius. Yes, he did step on second base. He wasn't sure. He looked back at Larry Vanover, the second base umpire, and finally did get the sign, and we'll head to the home half of the 5th. It's a 2-0 Diamondbacks lead.
Tony the Bat Boy and Pat O'Connell, our PR guy, and AJ Pollock, they get the very special privilege of wearing Michigan today. And on behalf of the entire university and student body and football program and alumni all over the country, you're welcome.
What a photo that is right there. course, J.J. Putt's a proud alumnus of the University of Michigan. They were big winners last week over Notre Dame. A.J. Pollock went to Notre Dame, and the rest of those guys, big Irish fans. So a little wager, and J.J. coming out on the winning end. Last year, Michigan lost that game, so J.J. had to wear some Notre Dame paraphernalia when he was taking batting practice. But one thing I can tell you guys, on the next road trip, of course, the rookies have to enjoy the burden of JJ's antics, and he's got some costumes already ordered, and I can tell you it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory theme. So take that from there. I think we'll see a lot of Oompa Loompas on your next flight. Yeah,
I'll bet you $1 million Adam Eaton is an Oompa Loompa. That's painful.
I asked him if it's going to be complete with the orange spray tan that the Oompa Loompas had, and I hope it is.
That's an excellent question.
I'm still scarred by a couple years ago. And look, I feel bad for Tony. That's a pink tank top. By the way, the clothing that Patrick O'Connell and Tony the Bat Boy, actually, J.J. Putt's his wife. He rated her wardrobe. So and I think Mrs. Putz wears it much better. I will guarantee you that.
Also, Brad, I don't think she's going to want it back.
No, you can keep those where they are.
Yeah, that's just a write-off right there. Didi chases that one in the dirt. Rosario completes the strikeout. Yeah, Pat didn't look too happy. He's a big Notre Dame guy. Pat O'Connell. AJ looks a little forlorn, doesn't he?
Oh, because he knows his friends are going to see this picture. And that's you got some explaining to do.
That's a Tom Brady. Was Brady number 10 at Michigan? I think he was. Tuomi. Wade Miley grounded out his first time. Tuomi Brady. Oh, you see that Patriot Jet game? Ugh. Horrible. Up the middle, Oswald can't barehand it. Miley's got his 6th base hit of the year. Wade Miley now 6 for 53.
Put his head right down the barrel of the bat that time. Wade out on the front foot a little bit, but finds a hole up the middle of the field. He may only have 6 hits all year, but he's got bragging rights on this pitching staff for that bomb he hit up in San Francisco earlier this season.
In April, too.
Yeah.
Here's Adam Eaton. 0 for 2. Grounded out and struck out. Well, needless to say, there will be a lot of tweeting of the photos on the next road trip. Which will be the last road trip of the year. We go to Colorado and San Diego. And back home for 3 against the Nationals, and then Bob Brenly. That is in all likelihood it. A long off season of fishing and other activities can proceed.
Arizona Fall League games. I'm sure now that you're a resident here in the Valley, I'm sure that's something you'll partake of.
I already got my pass. I'm ready to go. I got all the rosters. Go out and see some of the best young players in baseball all over the Valley. It's going to be fun. I will be out there.
I have to dig out my Coyotes jersey and my Cardinals jersey. Get all ready to go.
You'll see Adam Eaton out there at those Coyote games. He's there all the time. Big hockey guy. What's the news on? Do you know, you're a Cardinal fan? I know you got tickets. I got Mendenhall in the Fantasy League tomorrow, and this is big because I'm playing Leo.
Ooh.
In our broadcaster football fantasy league, it's me and Leo Gilmartin head to head. I got to go home and talk to the wife about the starting lineup. But Leo and I are going head to head tomorrow. We're both 1-0.
Something's got to give.
Two and two to Adam Eaton. Wade Miley on first after a 1-out single. I know Mendenhall's got a knee. Fitzgerald's hurt. 2 and 2. It's full. Aaron Hill is on deck.
Now, normally this would be an automatic run for the guy at first base. Full count, 1 out in the inning, contact hitter at the plate. I'm not so sure, however, with Wade Miley. We'll see how Gibby wants to play it.
Elton playing behind the runner at first. Miley holds. Eaton lifts it into left. Culberson backing up at the track. He gets himself all turned around, but recovers it, gets underneath it for the second out. That was almost a disaster for Colorado.
I think sometimes the Rockies outfielders forget where they are. You know, ball hit well in the air to left field. Charlie Culberson's probably seen some of those hit over his head at Coors Field, so he just turned around and started booking it toward the warning track. Had to stop, reach back, and make a backhanded catch about waist high that time.
Aaron Hill 0 for 2. Aaron Hill, 2 hits in each of his last 2 games. He was on base 3 times last night. A walk and a pair of singles. He scored a run. Ron Pennington fielding that one down the left field line. Our Golden Glover down there. There's Ron. We've got Ron on the left field line and Doc Rosenblatt in position in right field. Ready to pounce.
Ever at the ready.
Well, Oswald's been pretty efficient here. 72 pitches, only 19 balls. Dropped it in there, but missed. It's 2-1.
A funny reaction after that pitch by Roy Oswalt. Came off the front of the mound to the left side, just kind of froze there momentarily. Got the throwback from Rosario, really took his time getting back up on the rubber, digging around at the dirt. Not sure if he felt a tweak somewhere or was trying to regroup mentally before this 3-1 pitch.
Yanks it foul.
I can't believe he wanted this pitch. It's well off the outside corner, but yeah, you saw him look down right away. A couple of hop, skips, and jumps on that first base side. Really took his time before he got back up on the rubber, shaking out the right arm.
Yeah, that looks like a tweak of something. 3-2. Miley will be off on the pitch. There he goes. Here it is. And Aaron Hill lines it over the glove of LeMahieu at second, and Miley heads it to third.
well placed. Got jammed a little bit with that fastball in. See LeMahieu cheating up the middle of the field, which is where he should be with the pull hitting Aaron Hill at the plate, and just couldn't recover in time to get there. Ball might have actually tipped off the end of his glove as he made that diving attempt.
Rockies bullpen gets busy as Oswalt goes over 75 pitches. He has had Paul Goldschmidt's number so far tonight. Goldie 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And he's gotten Goldie by slowing him down and then speeding him up. Starts with a fastball 0-1. "21 games now without a home run for Paul Goldschmidt. He last homered August 20th. He's hitting .295 since the last homer, and .295 for the year.
Paul Goldschmidt ranks 3rd in the National League in RBIs with runners in scoring position. His first 2 at-bats of this game, 2 outs, nobody on base, struck out both times. See his numbers with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Wade Miley on 3rd, Aaron Hill the runner at 1st. 1-1 to Goldie. Here we go again. Activity for Colorado. Rob Scahill is warming up. We saw him last night.
Oswalt really taking a lot more time between pitches now. I remember Rick Sutcliffe saying during his days with the Chicago Cubs, he'd stand out there and shake off and shake off and shake off. He said it wasn't so much that I didn't want to throw that pitch, I was just waiting for my arm to stop hurting.
Buckled Goldie twice on that one, and he missed 2 and 2.
He's asking home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez, where did that one miss? Gonzalez called it low. Ooh.
Boy, that was a good pitch.
Big time break right there.
It's full. Leading the National League by 8 over that dude BP.
Another RBI-less day today for Brandon Phillips. Reds 7-3 winners over the Milwaukee Brewers.
Homer Bailey won again. Three and 2 to Goldie. 2 on, 2 outs. We'll do it one more time. Aaron Hill was off on the pitch. He'll go back to first. Boy, how about the Oakland A's? Absolute dogfight for the Rangers. They beat him today 1-0. Oakland wins. MVP. Chance to pick up a vote or 2 right here. Missed. Bases full for Prado. And Oswalt openly gesturing toward Manny Gonzalez. Where was that? And now he's coming up to the plate. He really wanted those 2 pitches in that at bat to Goldie.
I don't think this one was close enough to really argue. The other one, absolutely. But this breaking pitch just appeared to stay inside the entire trip up there to the batter's box.
That's going to be it. Walt Weiss has already made the move. And here's Oswalt afterward. Look at this. So that will do it for Oswalt. He'll leave trailing 2-0, responsible for 3 base runners. 83 pitches, 58 for strikes. Pitching change. Bases full of Diamondbacks. We'll take a break. Downtown Phoenix, beautiful night for Diamondbacks baseball here at Chase Field, and the Diamondbacks have the bases loaded in the 5th with 2 outs. Wade Miley is the runner at 3rd, Aaron Hill at 2nd, and Paul Goldschmidt at 1st. And the new pitcher for the Rockies, who came in to enter Sandman, is Rob Scahill. We saw Scahill last night. He pitched 1/3 of an inning. He worked to 1 batter, came on in the 5th and got Didi Gregorius to ground out to win that inning. And he's looking for the last out of the 5th right here. They have left the bases full 58 times this season. Only 2 teams have done that more often in the National League. Trying to rock the Rockies right here with the bases full for Martin Prado. The numbers on Scahill.
Apparently he is the Rockies' designated pitcher to get them out of the 5th inning. Came in a similar situation last night after the starter Tyler Chatwood went 4 2/3. Scahill came in, as you mentioned, got the out of Didi Gregorius, and then turned the ball over to the rest of the Rockies bullpen.
Big chance right here for Prado, who's 0 for 2. Strike 1. Martin hitting 190 in September so far. That following the 374 month of August. Popped up, shallow center. Mayhew calling for it. He's got it. And Scahill strands 3. We are through 5. It's 2-0 D-backs. CountryLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Lone Butte Casino, you're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. Hey fans, find out who will be the next Fox Sports Arizona girl. Join us Tuesday, 6 o'clock during the Diamondbacks Live pregame show. As the Fox Sports Arizona girls, Mallory and Danielle, will introduce the winner and their newest member. And together they will fight crime. No, you usually have the inside scoop. You had nothing yesterday anymore.
Nothing. I still have nothing. This is one of the best kept secrets in the history of this organization.
Only one way to find out. You got to watch Diamondbacks Live on Tuesday, 6 o'clock, before the Dodger game. Charlie Blackmon leads it off against Wade Miley. Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Tulowitzki top of the order. Blackmon so far 0 for 2. He struck out his last time up. Doc Rosenblatt perfectly positioned.
You get the feeling Doc studies the spray charts. He knows who's likely to pull the ball down that way, which right-handers might slice one his direction. Look at him play that carom. Oh, man.
Those khakis have never looked better. Yeah, he's in there. I mean, we hear a lot about the players with their film work. I mean, you'll see Doc in the video room all the time asking for video on either left-handers or right-handers, depending on which line he's got.
Pulls Charlie Nagy aside and asks how they're going to pitch some of these Rockies hitters. Just to make sure he's in the right spot.
Failing to prepare is preparing to fail, as Coach Wooden once said. How about that? Another big crowd here, BB. We did really well last night. More than 31,000. Looks like even more than that tonight on Miguel Montero Bobblehead Day. Roof is open. Gorgeous night to be here. Hispanic Heritage Day at the ballpark, the 15th annual event put on by the Diamondbacks. Bring him up and sit him down. That's 5 strikeouts for Miley, 1 away in the 6th.
Hey fans, when you do come out here to Chase Field, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game. I believe tonight's contestant took home an Aaron Hill autographed Kachinko piece.
And that's the worst you can do.
Yeah.
Ooh, pretty good deal. LeMahieu is 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. Someone on the Twitter I was checking during the commercial was asking me, is this the only guy in the major leagues with 3 consecutive vowels in his name? And as a fellow vowel sufferer, I can relate. A lot of unnecessary vowels in there. Creates a lot of issues. I don't know the answer, but probably. DJ LeMahieu. I don't know how to check that. There's a strike, 3-1. I can tell you that DJ is from Michigan, much like J.J. Putz. He went to LSU, of course. Everybody thinks, well, he's from there. He's got, one of those French-sounding names. He played at LSU. He must be Cajun or something. No, he's from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. High in the air to right, Parra in the corner. He is something else. Look at that shot. Great work by our camera crew out there.
And a long, long run that time for Parra, right into that right field corner, looking up into the open roof and night sky here.
Beautiful shot from behind the RamTrucks.com pool area. As Troy Tulowitzki steps in, he has hit into a double play and singled, 1 for 2. Tulo, an all-star for the 3rd time in his career this year. There's a strike. He missed 25 games with a fractured rib this summer. He was out from the middle of June until just before the All-Star break. And when he got hurt, he was hitting .347 for the year. So the injury could not have come at a worse time for either him or the Rockies, certainly. And since he's come back from the rib injury, he's hit about .270. So a big difference. Might have something in his eye here. .85 pitches for Miley, 53 for strikes. 0-2 to Tulo. Shot to first, Goldie. And it's a 1-2-3-6th inning for Wade Miley. He's got a 2-0 lead. CenturyLink Yearling to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, Miguel Montero. Right now, 7 for 7. The 5, 6, and 7 hitters are coming up. Hey fans, Crowd Goes Wild is the new weekday talk show with the Regis Philbin and a cast of former athletes and journalists, where you can always expect the unexpected. Catch Crowd Goes Wild weekdays, 5 o'clock Eastern on Fox Sports 1 with Reach. Miguel Montero will lead off the 6th for the Diamondbacks, and Miggy is on a roll right now. He has reached base safely in his last 7 plate appearances, and he's coming up, BB, on the franchise record.
Franchise record of 9, sneaking up on it.
Montero, Davidson, Parra, 5, 6, and 7. It's Miggy. It's usually just Miggy time, but tonight on Miggy Bobblehead Day, it's a little bit more than that. 20,000 fans got Miguel Montero bobbleheads, courtesy of Subway Restaurants, on Hispanic Heritage Day here at Chase Field. And so far on his bobblehead night, Miggy is 2 for 2, a pair of singles. He scored a run after reaching base safely in all 5 plate appearances last night. 0-1. Scahill back out there. There is the Miggy bobblehead. Now see, that one had a protective box and a case, the one that I had to lug around. It was kind of like a test model, basically. You know, you go to the dealer and the one you drive around when you're test driving. Didn't make it back. Left field, Culberson. He won't get it, and Montero's on base again. Miguel Montero has reached base safely in 8 straight plate appearances. He's 3 for 3 tonight. That's a double.
Who is this guy?
I tell you what, whatever he tried starting last night, don't change back.
Boy, hitting that ball with authority to the opposite field, just over the glove of Culberson out there, up into the stands.
He's had an adventurous night out there, that's for sure.
Slips.
And then he kind of bit it at the end there. All right. And Matt Davidson is 2 for 2 himself. He has single, double, and scored a run. So Miggy now 1 shy of the record. Miguel Montero, last night 2 singles, 2 walks, a 3-run homer. Tonight a pair of singles and a double. One.
I'll tell you, that's a good take right there by young Matt Davidson. However, that nasty slider on the outside third of the plate, breaking off the plate low and away. Even if he swings at that, he's not going to do much with it, but put it in play weakly on the ground. Yeah, that early in the count, just take it. Hope to get a better pitch later.
Fights it off. LeMahieu snares it at shallow right. And that's the first out of the inning.
You were talking about the overload of vowels for DJ LeMahieu.
What you get?
I got the opposite for you. There was a player for the Padres back in the early 80s, 81 to 84, backup catcher named Doug Goosh.
Pardon me?
Now, pick up a pen and paper at home and write this down. Here's how he spelled his last name. G-W-O-S-D-Z.
G-W-O-S-D-Z.
Goosh.
Are you sure that's the correct pronunciation?
That's the correct pronunciation according to Baseball Reference. And our manager, Rocky Bridges, he came to the AAA Phoenix Giants for a brief spell. Nicknamed him iChart, which I thought was highly appropriate.
You mean it wasn't Guazdus?
Guazdus? iChart. We all just called him iChart. Doug Goosh had 104 actually at bats in the big leagues, hit 144 with 1 major league homer. Good guy. Good guy.
From Houston, Texas. He was a 2nd-round pick. Doug Wazashis. It's funny, yeah, because if you go to Baseball Reference where they always have the nicknames, it says iChart.
Yeah.
How come these guys are always catchers, by the way? All the real wackos who have these backstories, they're all catchers. Either left-hand pitchers or catchers. Fights it off, and it drops in. Here comes Miggy, and he will score. Play on the throw at second, and the Rockies throw it away. RBI for Parra. He has driven in all 3 Diamondback runs. Culberson had no play on Montero. Thought he might have a play on Parra at second. They ruled that a double and an RBI.
Well, as a base runner at second base, this is a play that you get a really good read. You see Miggy didn't hesitate at all at second base. He knew that Arenado at third base had no chance. He knew where Tulowitzki was playing. He knew Culberson was too deep to get there, so he was off like a shot from second base and scored easily.
So before you can say Doug Guadouche, it's 3-0 D-backs, and here's Didi, who was 0 for 2. He struck out his last time. Job back to the mound. Parra moves to third, 2 down. And Miley will hit. Miley 1 for 2, singled his last time, hit one right up the middle.
One more wouldn't hurt anything right here. Pick up that runner from third base. Another ground ball up the middle will work, Wade.
Doug Guadouche actually played a year in Phoenix. 85.
That's when he played for Rocky Bridges. Yeah, Rocky was notorious for hanging nicknames on guys.
Rocky Bridges is a great. If you're going to cast a minor league manager, you'd name him Rocky Bridges.
I'm telling you, he was a character. And you know, a lot of baseball fans here in the Valley, if you watched the Phoenix Giants back in those days, it wasn't unusual to see Rocky walking down. What was that? Was that Van Buren? Yeah, he stayed at a hotel just maybe a mile or so from the ballpark, from Phoenix Muni, and used to walk to the ballpark every day in cowboy boots and Wranglers with a long sleeve plaid shirt on. He was a cowboy. Whew, talk about breaking a sweat.
That's a 3-shirt day.
Yes, it is.
Well, they call Mark Zepchinski Scrabble, so Eichard kind of fits. He was pre-Zepchinski.
Another good nickname Rocky hung on one of our players. We had a right-handed pitcher by the name of Mark Calvert, who was a Oklahoma State wrestling champion. This guy had shoulders forever. I mean, wide shoulders, and a pretty big melon on top of those shoulders. And Rocky called him Shampoo. Well, why Shampoo? Because he's all head and shoulders. Ba-doom-boom.
2-2. Well, he thinks the nickname's while he's walking to work.
Yeah, I guess so. Before he passes out from heat exhaustion.
Miley trying to pick up power from third here. Cahill has worked it full of the pitcher. Adam Eaton is on deck. Miley drives it to left. Culberson was playing in, and it's over his head. How fast can Wade Miley run? He'll stop at second with an RBI double, and it's 4-0 Diamondbacks. His second double and his 6th RBI this year. Just knocked it the other way, right over Culberson's head and left.
With that RBI, takes over the team lead for the pitching staff. Trevor Cahill also had 5, but Wade Miley now was 6, driving this ball deep to left field.
3 doubles in the inning for Arizona, and here's Adam Eaton with Miley on second. Two for 3 for Miley. Like having another leadoff hitter at the bottom of your order. Let's not get nuts.
Maybe not.
Looking up Rocky Bridges. Everett Lamar Bridges.
From Idaho somewhere. I think he was born in, I'm trying to remember.
He was born in Refugio, Texas.
Oh, okay. He lived in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That was it.
Oh, way up there by Glacier National,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Adam Eaton takes a called strike 3, his second strikeout. But 3 doubles in the inning, one by Wade Miley. Diamondbacks add 2. They lead it 4-0.
any hesitation. For the most part, I had pretty good command, and see what's the next step.
You expect to be back right away?
I mean, I expect to pitch again this year. Yeah, I don't know what what Gibby and the training staff are going to talk and figure out what the next step's going to be. Whenever that is that I'm available to pitch, I'll be ready.
D-backs reliever J.J. Butch declaring himself ready to go. He had that simulated game today. He said he felt great, and Kirk Gibson was asked earlier why bring him back by a reporter, and he said we want to win games, and he gives us a chance to do that, and we want his arm back in that bullpen. So J.J. just waiting to get the green light, and I think it's going to be much, much sooner than later, guys.
That's certainly good news. Michael Kadire leads off the 7th against Wade Miley. Diamondbacks about hit the Rockies 10-3. They lead at 4-0.
Yeah, good news from Mobile. They evened their best-of-5 series with Birmingham for that Southern League championship at 2 apiece tonight. Bo Schultz went 7 2/3, gave up 5 hits and 1 run.
Matt Davidson, nice play at third. Matt's made a couple of nice plays down there tonight.
Catcher, Willie
A good quick first step, crossed over, got to his left, and the throw right on the money. Looked it into the glove, gathers himself. Well, you notice he takes his bare hand into the glove rather than sweep the glove over to his bare hand. That's where many times an infielder will lose the handle. Take the bare hand and put it in the glove to find the baseball.
Base hit for Rosario. He's 1 for 3. Yeah, Matt's footwork looked pretty good on that one.
Sure did.
And that's what they're looking for, right? In this sort of preview of Matt at the major league level here over the course of the next month or so.
Yeah, good footwork. That time, good quick first step, crossed over. If your feet work well, it makes everything else easier. Your head doesn't bounce up and down, and therefore your glove doesn't bounce up and down. Get yourself into a better position to make accurate throws if your feet work well.
Todd Helton is 0 for 2, but he's hit 2 ground balls up the middle on which Aaron Hill made nice plays, and in all likelihood took at least 1 base hit away from Todd, and probably 2. Todd Helton just turned 40 a few weeks ago. 17 big league seasons, just over 2,500 hits, 367 homers, and he's only 4 RBIs away from 1,400. Drives that one to center. Adam Eaton is backing up. It's off the wall. Rolls back into center field. Rosario will come in and score. Helton stops at second. And the Rockies have their first run. It's a 4-1 ball game, and now Helton is only 3 RBIs away from 1,400.
That's one of the hardest hit balls we've seen off the bat of Todd Helton, certainly this season. Drove that one to straightaway center field. Adam Eaton gets caught in between once again, whether to try to make the catch or back off the wall out there at the 407 mark. Decides to go for the catch, not able to make it. That ball ricochets all the way back toward the infield.
Well, back-to-back hits by the Rockies bring out Charles Nagy to the mound here with 1 out in the 7th. Wade Miley had given up only 3 hits in the ball game, all singles, only 1 walk. He's been rolling along here, but now a single by Rosario and a long double by Helton have made it a 4-1 ball game. Diamondbacks bullpen is busy. Josh Colmenter is throwing for the D-backs. Brad Ziegler loosening up a bit as well. So a run is in. Helton's on second, 1 out. Nolan Arenado has grounded out and walked 0 for 1. 95 pitches now for Wade Miley, 60 for strikes. Down and away, and he's ahead 0-2.
That's been a good pitch for Wade Miley against Arenado tonight. Just throwing that sinker out there on the outer third of the plate, letting the movement take it away from the right-handed hitter, and Arenado just hasn't been able to lay off.
Got that one up, and Arenado knocks it into right center. Here comes Todd Helton. Here's the throw. He scores. It's a 4-2 ball game, and 3 consecutive Colorado hits have cut the Diamondbacks' lead in half. Big difference in that last pitch and those first 2 in terms of location.
Yeah, you called it. He got it up a little bit, up and out over the plate. Much easier for a hitter to see, much easier for a hitter to hit, obviously, as Arenado stays on that one toward the gap in right center. Look at Parr streaking over from right field. Even though Eaton was right there in position to make the play, let the guy with the strong arm take it. Unfortunately, Helton just had too much of a jump at second.
And now Kirk Gibson will take the ball from Wade Miley. His night will end here, and they are on their feet at Chase Field. We'll take a break. Saturday night, suddenly it's a ball game again. Rockies have cut the lead in half as they get 3 straight base hits in the 7th against Wade Miley, who really did pitch a terrific ball game here, Bob.
Yeah, he had scattered 3 hits through the first 6 innings of this game, and then the Rockies bunched 3 hits back to back to back here in the 7th to chase him out of the ball game. Now Josh Coleman, to the right-hander, taking over to face Charlie Culberson.
No National League relief pitcher has thrown more innings. Only 4 National League relievers have more strikeouts.
I stand corrected. This is Corey Dickerson taking over for Charlie Culberson.
He lines it right to Adam Eaton in center for a quick out number 2. Time to answer the AT&T Twitter poll question. Favorite extra inning game this season. Now remember, this is ongoing. We're going to keep this going all weekend long. And the Yankees game, which was over 50% last night, that's a little more even right now, but it's still out there in front. That July 4th game against the Mets that went back and forth. Diamondbacks would take the lead. Mets would answer. Home run. Diamondbacks took the lead. Mets hit a home run. That crazy August 24th game at the Phillies, the longest in Diamondback history, 7 hours and 6 minutes.
Followed by a day game.
Ryan Wheeler will hit for the pitcher.
A couple hours later.
You noticed that, did you?
Yes, I did.
I had a feeling you might. Yeah, that was I kind of liked it. It was fun. It was long, but it was fun. It's one of those you just want to kind of see how long you can go with it. David Hernandez from the right side, Joe Thatcher from the left.
Boy.
1-1 to Wheeler. D-backs sent Wheeler to Colorado in the offseason in the Matt Reynolds deal. There is the Miguel Montero bobblehead out at the RamTrucks.com pool. Wheeler, 5th round pick by the D-backs in the 09 draft out of Loyola Marymount. Rosario singled with 1 out. Helton doubled him home. Arenado singled in Helton, and now it's a 4-2 ball game. So those 2 runs the Diamondbacks picked up in the home half of the 6th are the difference right now. Back with you tomorrow on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondbacks live pregame show at 12:30. Series finale against Colorado, and then it's 4 against the Dodgers here at Chase Field starting Monday.
Is that right? 9-1 Giants in the bottom of the 3rd. Ricky Nolasco against Tim Lincecum in that ball game. Giants putting a whooping on the Dodgers early.
Boy, Nolasco has looked great against the Diamondbacks all year long. It's 8-1 up there in the 3rd. Keep adding to that lead. 7 runs, 5 earned, and 1 1/3 for Nolasco. 2-2 to Wheeler. Broken bat. Goldie is right there to pounce on it. Josh Colmencher puts out the fire, but the Rockies get 2. It's a 4-2 ball game as we stretch at Chase Field. Back at Chase Field, the roof open on a Saturday night at downtown Phoenix. D-backs lead the Rockies 4-2. Win for his 8th birthday. Well, here's Joe Borowski will try and lock down this win here. Boy, Joe, Wade Miley looked great here.
He really did. 2 mistakes in that last inning. Fell behind Helton, left the ball up out over the plate. And then to the last hitter, got ahead 0-2 on 2 very good pitches off the plate away, and then he left one up and out over the plate. But other than that, I thought he did a great job. Slider really, really sharp tonight.
And he's been looking for that 10th win to join Randy Johnson as just the 2nd Diamondback left-hander with back-to-back 10-win seasons. So the Diamondbacks here will try and hang on And getting that W here is the former Cardinal, Mitchell Boggs, now a Rocky. He was purchased by Colorado in July of this month, and he's making his 23rd appearance of the year.
Leading off for the D-backs.
This is just his 5th outing for Colorado. We saw Corey Dickerson hit for Charlie Culberson in that half inning. He takes over in left field. And Aaron Hill leads off the Arizona 7th. 1 for 3, a single his last time up. Boy, Mitchell Boggs had a great year last year in St. Louis. Pitched in 78 games, went 4-1 with a 2.21 ERA. Cardinals kind of just here, take them. Give us some money. He'd had a rough start to the year in St. Louis, 18 appearances, had an ERA over 11. So, boy, it went badly quickly here for Mitchell Boggs. Joe Borowski and Diamondbacks Live right after the ball game. And Colorado, Joe's a tough place to rediscover the pitching form, I guess.
But that's the thing is, if you prove you can do it in the past in the big leagues, somebody's going to find you an opportunity to do it again, believing that you can find it once again, and he's getting the opportunity now with the Rockies.
Well, it had been a good series defensively for Willeen Rosario up until this last pitch. And Manny Gonzalez is not happy about it.
Well, he's got to know going in that it might get dicey with Rosario in front of him.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much Rosario has seen of Boggs. You know, pitcher that maybe you've only caught once or twice. Suddenly he's got a little more movement on that sinker than you expect, and Rosario barely deflected that one.
Boy, Boggs had that 2.21 ERA last year in St. Louis. He comes out this year with the Cardinals, pitches 14 2/3, gives up 21 hits with 15 walks. I mean, he just lost it. And that's kind of what the Rockies and Bob, we were talking about this yesterday. That's what they need to do, is get guys like that with good track records who are struggling and see if they can get them fixed. Aaron Hill, gone. That's his 10th. Diamondbacks get one back. Still rough sledding for Mitchell Boggs in 2013. And that is your classic Aaron Hill home run. It's a Fulton home run. Another $150 to Central Arizona Mountain Rescue. High and deep and gone down the left field line.
Well, good to see the Diamondbacks answer after the Rockies scored 2 in the 7th to cut the lead in half. Come right back and score another run of your own. Get the momentum back on that third base side of the field.
Right field, Kadire. Off the base of the wall for Goldie, and now it's rolling back toward the infield, and Goldie's rolling into third. Safe. Paul Goldschmidt, his 3rd triple this year. And for the Diamondbacks, it's a homer and a triple to open the 7th.
Just down in the middle of the plate, and as we've seen Goldie so many times, he squares it up to the opposite field. Bangs that ball off the base of the fence in right field. Shot past Kadire. And Goldie running hard the whole way. He never assumes anything when he hits a ball hard deep to the outfield. Ends up at third base with a triple.
Boy, Joe, you're at it again.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I try to do my part. I try to do it, but it's great to see the Diamondbacks just respond to the 2 spot that was given up in the top of the 7th.
A homer and a triple to open the inning. Here's Prado's 0 for 3. Infielded on the grass, swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
Looking for the double and then a single by Montero. That'd be the reverse cycle in 1 inning.
The Borowski cycle, as it's known. If it happens in the 7th.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those thrown out there in the 9th inning.
Center field. Blackman backing up. Goldie's at third. He will tag, and here he comes, and it's 6-2 Diamondbacks. And Bob Redley find the shot of the guy dressed like a taco because he nailed it.
We have dancing tacos.
RBI for Prado. That's number 74 to add to his career high. And here comes Miggy, who has reached base safely in his last 8 plate appearances. And if he does so right here, he will tie the Diamondbacks record. He reached base 5 times in 5 plate appearances. Last night, 2 singles, 2 walks, and a 3-run homer. Tonight, a pair of singles and a double. He has scored twice. And he is a no-brainer APS Energy All-Star on Miguel Montero bobblehead night.
Love it when a plan comes together.
I'll tell you what, if the guys continue to do this on their bobblehead nights, they need to start giving more away.
Every night. If that's all it takes, every night.
I'm going to have to get a separate travel case. He's behind 0-2.
Well, Boggs isn't exactly fooling anybody here in this inning. The long home run by Aaron Hill, the triple off the base of the wall in right. Martin Prado hits a sac fly nearly to the warning track in straightaway center. Now Miggy's going to have to battle with an 0-2 count, however.
Struck him out, and the streak ends there at 8 straight plate appearances. 2 outs in the 7th.
Yeah, he needed a breather.
From base running.
Yeah.
Baxter. But I tell you what, for a guy with no thumbs, Baxter signs a lot of autographs and tweets a lot. Joe, what's coming up on Diamondbacks Live after the game?
Well, I think the no-brainer is just to look at what Miley did tonight, how he was able to keep this offense at bay. Rocky's offense is pretty potent, especially the amount of hits they put up yesterday. For him to come in here and shut them down, going to have to take a look at what he was able to do and how he executed his pitches.
Last night, 7 runs on 16 hits. Tonight, 2 runs on 6 hits. Matt Davidson's had a good night, 2 for 3, a single, double, and a run scored.
Love to see Matt Davidson turn one around, get his first big league homer before the end of this season.
Well, he hit one in Philadelphia, only he got robbed by Roger Bernardino. Remember that ball? He hit to dead center at Citizens Bank Park over the fence. Bernardino, the Shark, went up there and took it back. Would have had his first career homer off Roy Halladay. That would have been a nice thing in the resume. Instead, it was just a fly ball out to center field. 3-1. Two-out walk from Boggs. Here's Gerardo Parra, who has a pair of RBI doubles tonight.
Right fielder,
Down the line and left, but foul.
Rockies just now getting a relief pitcher up in the bullpen. I believe that's Jeff Francis, former starter. With the expanded rosters, I lost count of how many relief pitchers Walt Weiss has available in that bullpen. I'm surprised they didn't have somebody up and going as soon as Boggs gave up that leadoff home run in this inning. Well, you mentioned it, Joe. With this Rockies potent offense, I mean, 4 runs. You'd like to think that's a comfortable lead, but against this aggressive, hacking Rockies team, I don't know.
Especially when you have a pitcher right now who's really struggling to throw strikes. Wait him out, get some more guys on, and why not just keep adding to the total?
1-1. Left field, Dickerson's out there backing up in front of the bullpen, and he tracks it down. Joe, thanks. You got us a couple of runs. Nice work.
I'm doing my best, Steve.
We'll see you on Diamondbacks Live after the game. Aaron Hill hits his 10th home run of the year. And then Paul Goldschmidt knocks a triple off the right field wall, and the Diamondbacks had their lead at 6-2 as we head to the 8th, and everybody's dressed like a taco. Tickets are on sale right now. You can enjoy exclusive benefits, a flexible 12-month payment option, and a plan that is just right for you. And if you don't think you can make all 81 home games, that's all right. Check out a half-season or a weekend plan. Just come to the games on the weekends. Or if you don't want to miss a single moment of Diamondbacks baseball, you can go all in with full season tickets. So buy or renew your 2014 season tickets by calling 602-462-4600. Or log on to dbacks.com/tickets. And if you're at the ballpark, you go over to section 111. It's behind first base here at Chase Field, and they have season ticket headquarters, and they can answer all your questions. It's a great area for Diamondbacks fans to go over if you have questions about season seats and how that works. Head on over. David Hernandez is out there to open the 8th. Martin Prado takes over at third for Matt Davidson. Some defensive changes here behind him. Adam Eaton moves from center to left field. He replaces Prado in left, and A.J. Pollock is out there in center. One and one to Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon is 0 for 3. He struck out twice. Make it 3 times. Brings up DJ LeMahieu. He's 1 for 3, a single in the first.
DJ LeMahieu.
'98 from David Hernandez. Feeling it out there tonight.
He's looked pretty good since he's come back from Reno, that's for sure. Came back on September 1st. He's had 5 appearances for the Diamondbacks, all scoreless. Fools LeMahieu there. It's 1-2. Pops him up, right center field. Pollock coming in, Hill backing up, and now Parra comes in and takes it, and that's the second out. I don't think he likes guys coming into his turf.
No. Stay out of my yard.
That's right. You kids, get off my lawn. Anything that would hit within basically 100 yards of right field is mine. 2 outs for Troy Tulowitzki. 1 for 3, a single in the fourth. Drops that in there for a strike. 2-2.
A bit of a knee locking slider that time. Normally David starts that pitch pretty much down the middle, breaks it off the plate low and away. He threw that one right at Tulowitzki and broke it over the inside part of the plate.
Well, if he can rediscover his form from the 2 previous seasons, that is going to be a huge addition for the Diamondbacks next year. Because if you look at his numbers from the previous 2 years, they're stupid. They're so good. It's insane. And so it was when David sort of struggled to find himself this year. It was a real blow to the bullpen. There's no question.
Yeah, because he was that guy you could bring in and miss bats. Oh, bring him in with runners in scoring position, and he would just throw the ball right by people. Which occasionally is what you need out of that bullpen. You need somebody to come in and miss a bat in a tough situation. I mean, it's nice to have ground ball pitchers and guys that can get that double play from time to time, but there will be situations where you need the ball not to be put in play.
2011, 69 innings, 77 strikeouts. Last year, 68 innings, 98 strikeouts. I mean, he was as lights out as they get. 3-2 to Tulowitzki. Very short right. Goldie has it on the edge of the infield dirt. And it's a 1-2-3-8 for David Hernandez. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up, batting in the pitcher's spot, it's A.J. Pollock. Good numbers this year against the Rockies. of the trade. Aaron Hill once on Todd Helton. Spectacular play behind the bag. And then in Helton's next at bat. Wow, says Wade Miley. He did it to him again. It's a tough gig. Ram Trucks tools of the trade. Aaron Hill at second base. New pitcher for the Rockies is the pride of North Delta, British Columbia. The left-hander Jeff Francis, who won 17 games in their World Series year of 07 and kind of lost it, had some injuries. Spent a year in Kansas City where he went 6-16. And now he is back for his second year and his second go-round with the Rockies. He'll work to Didi Gregorius, A.J. Pollock, and Adam Eaton in the Arizona 8th. Francis began the year on the opening day roster, made 11 starts, and it didn't go all that well. He was 2-5. The ERA was over 6.5, so he was sent down to Colorado Springs near the end of June. And he's back up here as a reliever.
Yeah, he had a 3-year span where he won 44 ball games. You mentioned the 17 wins in 07. He won 13 the year before and 14 in 2005. They thought this was a guy they could build a rotation around, but for whatever reason, it just went south for Jeff Francis.
Well, he was never really a hard thrower by any stretch. But he was 26 years old in that 07 season when he went 17-9. They went to the World Series, and even then he had an ERA of 4.22. So he was always a guy that gave up more hits than innings pitched, but he was still effective. Didi, base hit. Leadoff man on in the 8th. Well, you know, he's been doing that a lot lately, Bob. You just, you know, kind of slap it at the other way to left.
And I think he needs to do that. I mean, especially against left-handed pitching, he's going to see a lot of breaking balls. He's going to see some fastballs in on his hands. Just stay on that pitch away, use your hands, flip it out there to left field. A lot of knocks to that opposite field. I mean, he's quick enough on pitches from the middle of the plate in. If he's supposed to pull them, he will.
How would that change his effectiveness as a hitter in the way that he's pitched to? If, you know, people around the league learn, look, you can't just throw him away anymore and get him to chase because he'll take it the other way for the base hit. He'll be content for that.
Well, it makes you a more complete hitter. Obviously, it changes how they can play you defensively. They can't shift one direction or the other. They can't pitch you one way all the time. Have to start mixing it up, and when you start throwing more breaking balls and trying to hit that outside corner, that's when mistakes are made.
AJ 255 just checked into the ball game in the top half of this inning, took over in center field.
I mean, most pitchers are much more consistent with their location with the fastball. And the more breaking pitches you throw, the better your chances of leaving one up over the plate where it can get hammered. And that's what every hitter's looking for. Mistake off-speed pitches in the middle of the plate. Those tend to get hit a long way.
Rockies bullpen is quiet, so Francis has this inning, at least for now. 1-1 to A.J. Pollock. The Z-Cam. Base hit. A pair of singles against Francis to lead off the Arizona 8th. Brings up Spanky Eaton, who's 0 for 4. He has struck out twice. Checking the list. Checking it twice.
He's probably asking Jim Wright, his pitching coach, who are these guys down there in the pen? Who is this guy?
Let's see if anybody gets up down there.
On the lineup card that they give us here in the booth, 14 relief pitchers listed.
Most of them are just chilling right now. Diamondbacks about hit the Rockies 14-6. And Adam Eaton looking to join the hit parade. He is hitless so far. Diamondbacks bullpen phone rings.
Yeah, with a chance to possibly add some more runs on here, Gibby may be thinking he'll save Brad Ziegler. Imagine somebody else will get up and just start playing catch and go along with the inning and see how things develop here.
Yeah, somebody's jumping up down there. Heath Bell. Mark Reed, the bullpen catcher, springs into action. Get Reeder busy back there. 0-1 to Adam Eaton. Helton way into the grass at first. That's fouled back. It's 0-2. How'd the Fighting Bobcats do today? Did you check?
You know, I didn't check.
We've got a lot going on here. Arizona State, Wisconsin, no score midway through the first quarter. That one's in the dirt. Dennis Lamb is glued to the football game behind us. We've lost him. That's what happens when you grow up in Tempe. 1-2. Base hit for Spanky. Didi had to hold up. They'll wave him in, and he will score. 7-2 Diamondbacks, and Eaton's in at second base. 3 straight hits against Jeff Francis here in the 8th.
Has to feel good for Adam Eaton when your team's banging the ball all over the ballpark. You don't want to be the only guy to go over. Hangs in there against the lefty, sprays that ball out to the gap in right center field, and then just runs right in their face into second base. That throw came back to the cutoff man, Todd Helton. You could see Adam Eaton ducking underneath the throw as it came to Helton out there near the mound.
Aaron Hill homered his last time, his 10th of the year. He's 2 for 4. Infield in on the grass for the Rockies. That's the 15th hit for the Diamondbacks. D-backs had 12 hits last night, 15 tonight.
The Battling Bobcats put it on the Marshall Thundering Herd today, 31-17.
Oh, you better recognize Jeff Manship is up. So another pitcher warms up for the Rockies. Francis ahead 0-2. Down the line in left, but it's into 6. This was Aaron Hill's last at bat, 7th inning against Mitchell Boggs.
Ooh. Sinker down and in, right in Aaron's wheelhouse. A guy that loves to pull that fastball.
A.J. Pollock at third base. Adam Eaton at second. 1-2 on Aaron Hill. A run is in the 8th. Base hit. Pollock will score. Here comes Spanky. Here's the throw from Dickerson. It is not in time. 2 more RBIs for Aaron Hill. 2 more runs for the Diamondbacks, and the hit parade continues in the 8th. The first 4 have reached for the D-backs.
Right now for Jeff Francis, he's got an unfortunate combination, a lack of velocity and a lack of movement. Trying to go to the breaking pitch right there to Aaron Hill just to give him something different to see. He promptly bangs it into left field for an RBI base hit.
There's Goldie. He walked in the 5th, tripled and scored in the 7th, knocked it off the wall in right field behind Kadire. Home run drought going to end right here. I'm calling it. 21 games without a homer right now. I'm all in, baby.
Okay.
Going to get a hanging nothing ball. He's going to hit it out to left field. One and one. He drives it to right center. Not quite enough. Kadire's there. Brings up Martin Prado. Looking for his first base hit. He does have an RBI on a sac fly his last time.
Third baseman, Martin Prado.
That's the first out of the 8th inning. Single, single, double, single to start off against Francis for the D-backs. 3 runs are in. Diamondbacks scored 2 in the 2nd. And then 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and now 3 here in the 8th. They've out-hit the Rockies 16-6.
Yeah, the late runs aren't really a surprise. That's kind of been the Diamondbacks' MO in the second half of the season. Kind of sleepwalk through the early innings and then come on strong at the end of the ball game. The 2 runs in the 2nd was nice. Take an early lead.
Gerardo Parra, 2-run double after Montero and Davidson had base hits. Parra's got 3 RBIs tonight, 2 doubles. 2-0 to Martin Prado. Mr. Bobblehead is on deck. Tell you what, it's a 9-2 game. He's ahead 3-0, and he's still sticking to that approach. He's not moving until he gets a strike. He gets the walk.
Oh, with a 7-run lead in the 8th inning, a lot of times you swing at that 3-0 pitch. The 3-1 pitch is going to be in your rib cage.
Here comes Walt Weiss. 4 hits and a walk issued by Jeff Francis in this 8th inning. And now Walt Weiss, with all those relievers back there, is going to go to the well one more time. Pitching change at Chase Field. It's a 9-2 D-backs lead. We're back after this. Baseball everywhere you go. It's available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Diamondbacks baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. So text At Bat to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details. Here comes Miguel Montero on Miguel Montero bobblehead night. He's got Aaron Hill on second, Martin Prado on first. There's only one out, and the new pitcher for the Rockies is Jeff Manship, his 8th appearance this year.
Manship started the season in AAA Colorado Springs, appeared in 24 games, 17 of those starts, 6-8 with a 4.85 ERA. Pitched in the majors each of the last 4 seasons, part of each season with the Minnesota Twins.
3 runs in this inning for the D-backs. Miggy is 3 for 4, a pair of singles, a double. He scored twice. One and 0. Two and one.
You're keeping an eye on that Giants-Dodgers game. It's now 12-3 Giants in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Pitchers duel.
Big Royals win for them in the AL Central. They beat the Tigers 1-0. A couple of big 1-0 finals in the American League. Oakland beat Texas 1-0. Kansas City still hanging in there. They beat the Tigers 1-0. And how about BB, those Boston Red Sox? I don't think anybody saw that coming. They got 91 wins. They are the only team in the majors with at least 90 wins. 9-game lead over the Rays atop the AL East. LeMahieu at second, Tulowitzki at short. They roll the double play. Let the Diamondbacks get 3. It's 9-2. They've scored 9 times. Hispanic Heritage Day here today, the 15th annual event put on by the Diamondbacks and our friends at Budweiser. Big street festival outside Chase Field before the game, and then 20,000 Miguel Montero bobbleheads handed out to the fans courtesy of Subway restaurants. Ninth inning here at Chase Field, and the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks is the Heath Bell Experience. ERA at 4.5. He has worked 60 innings this year, 67 strikeouts against only 14 walks. He'll face Kadire, Rosario, Helton, 4, 5, and 6 in the Colorado ninth. Diamondbacks have out hit the Rockies 16-6. They lead it 9-2. Kadire, who began the game leading the National League in hitting, is 0 for 3. Sun Devils up 3-0, by the way. High chopper to short. Didi backed him up a bit. Strong throw against Kadire, who's 0 for 4. One away. Brings up Willeen Rosario, the catcher. He singled and scored his last time up. He's 1 for 3.
Chris Johnson from the Atlanta Braves had 2 knocks in the ball game today, raising his average to 330.
Man, 330 for CJ this year. He had a heck of a year.
Turned into a pretty good race in the National League to see who wins that batting title. Andrew McCutchen not far behind. To check, see what Andrew McCutchen did today. Ooh, McCutchen was over, so he'll drop a little bit off the pace.
Pirates won today. They beat the Cubs. Cardinals lost to the Mariners. Why they're playing the Seattle Mariners is anyone's guess, but both the Pirates and the Cardinals right now 86 and 62, tied for the league lead atop the National League Central. The Reds are 2.5 back. They beat the Brewers 7-3. That is some race, that NL Central, boy. That is going to be entertaining. Final couple of weeks.
Now that race in the American League wild card.
That one just eats up Aaron Hill. Rosario's got himself a base hit.
American League wild card, you have 6 teams within 3.5 games of each other going into play today. That long hop, little side English, just ate up Aaron Hill off his glove into shallow right center for a base hit.
Yeah, you got Texas with a half-game lead over Tampa Bay. Those are the 2 wild card teams right now. But Cleveland's a game back. Yankees are 2.5 back. Baltimore and Kansas City, both 3 off the pace. Rosario takes second. There you go. I tell you what, if you don't like that second wild card, you're missing the boat. It has made the divisions and the integrity of that division title so much more meaningful. Now you really got to win the division. No more settling for the wild card. And you've got all these teams halfway through September here, all these cities and all these fan bases into it big time. As Helton strikes out, 2 down. For me, it added, BB, I don't know how you feel, it added a lot more meaning to winning the division, which I think baseball needed.
Absolutely, no question about it. I mean, that's a tough road to hoe now. If you get in there as a wild card team, play the one game to see if you advance, and obviously you're going to have to grind to get to that one game. You may end up with your 5th starter starting a win or go home game.
And people say, well, it's baseball. It's not fair. You can't have a one-game playoff. It's got to be a series. Baseball is different. Well, tell you what, you want to avoid that? Win your division.
Win your division.
After a couple years ago where Joe Girardi admitted, you know what, we kind of shut it down. We just figured, hey, we're going to get a series anyway. Let's just win the wild card. Why kill ourselves? Get ready for the postseason because, as Girardi put it, it's not worth the T-shirt and the hat to win the division. Wild card's basically just as good. You get one less home game in the first round. Big deal. And this system has changed all of that. And it, you know, look at the folks in Kansas City. They're in it for the 78 and 70. When's the last time the Royals were relevant? 1985? Well, now there might be a playoff team.
And judging from the looks of that team this year, a couple of tweaks here and there, and they're going to be a perennial contender in that division.
They got a good bullpen. And some good young hitters. Eric Hosmer's had a really good year for them, their first baseman. A strike away. 32,237 on Miguel Montero bobblehead night. D-back Nation at Chase Field. Looking to even this series at a game apiece and get the win for Wade Miley. Got him, and the Diamondbacks win it 9-2. Oh, Bob, a lot to like about this. The D-backs with 9 runs, a whole bunch of hits. Wade Miley looked excellent until he kind of hit the wall there in the 7th inning. But the heart of the order here, 5, 6, and 7, 7 for 12.
Had a big night, those guys in the middle. It was a little bit of a slow start for Adam Eaton and Heron Hill at the top of the order, but they picked it up late in the game, as did Paul Goldschmidt. But yeah, those guys from the middle toward the bottom of the lineup really coming through tonight.
And so the D-backs even the series at a game apiece. We'll have the rubber game tomorrow afternoon. Let's start Diamondbacks live with Todd and Joe out in center field. Guys.
Steve, thank you. You just did. And Joe, I'm afraid I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to pull seniority on you.
What?
We're always just sort of kowtowing to you and what your needs are and what your desires are at the top of the show, the lead of Diamondbacks Live. I refuse tonight to allow you to go to pitching, to go to Wade Miley. All
Even
due
after
respect.
what he did today.
No, I loved it. I was very impressed by that. And we should break it down, and I'm sure we will. But you got to give us a little something else.
All right, well, how about this? Being that it's Hispanic Heritage Day
Okay.
and his bobblehead day, we're going Miggy.
See? I just led you right there. All right, that's what we're going to do, and that's how it's going to start. We'll take a break. Our coverage of the Diamondbacks continues here on Fox Sports Arizona. 9-2 the final for Los D-backs over the Rockies. When we come back, we'll kick it off. Diamondbacks Live, Brad Stuckey on the field. Guess who his guest will be? We'll be back in a moment.